all glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled. Guru God. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Naranam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudhiraye Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtigi Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Nama Pangajanabhaya Nama Pangajamalini Nama Pangajanetraya Namaste Pangajangre Mukam Karodi Vachalam Pangam Langayade Girim Yatkrivātamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Paramananda Madhavam. Hare Krishna. Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme, and today's verses 5 to 7, 5, 6, and 7. We read verse 5 now. Andagale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayadi samadbhavam yadi nastyasta samshayaha. Andagale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayadi samadbhavam yadi nastyatra samshayaha. Andagale cha mameva Smaran Muktva Kalevaram Yaprayadi Samadbhavam Yadi Nastyatra Samshayaha. See that acronym, Maji?
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Andakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayadi samadbhavam yadi nastyatra samshayaha. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna. Vaikri Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Andakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yadi nastyatra samshaya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Snigdhamaji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Antakale chamameva smarang muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra sansayah. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Rekha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayaha. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Right. Siddhartha Thakurani can read the translation.
And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, he at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 6. Yam yam vabi smaran bhavam tyajatyande kalevaram tam tameva idikaunteya sada tad bhava bhavidaha. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyande kalevaram tam tameva idikaunteya sada tad bhava bhavidaha. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyande kalevaram tam tameva iti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Right. Vaikari Mataji, Vaichulu. Can read.
Hare Krishna. यं यं व्यापि स्मरन् भावं त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरं तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भावभाविता. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right. Snigdhamaji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yang yang vyapi smaran bhavam त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरं तं तमेवेति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भाव भावितः. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Hare Kamaji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरं तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भावभावितः. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Right. Siddhartha Kunemaji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरं तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भावभावितः. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Okay. Snigdhamaji. Can you read the translation?
Yes, Prabhu. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Text 7. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam manusmara yudhyacham mayyarpidamano buddhi mam evaishasi samshayah. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam manusmara yudhyacham mayyarpidamano buddhi mam evaishasi samshayah. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyaja mayyarpidamano buddhi mam eveshasya samshayah. Hare Krishna. Okay. Snigdhamaji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Tasma sarvesu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyascha marjapita mano buddhir mame besha sansayah. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Siddhartha Kurani.
Hare Krishna. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha mayyarpida mano buddhir mame vaishyasya samsayah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vaikarimaji.
Hare Krishna. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha mayyarpida mano buddhir mame vaishyasya samshayah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vaikamalaji.
Hare Krishna. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha mayyarpitamano buddhir mame vaishyasya samshayah. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. You can read the translation also.
Okay, Prabhu. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Om jnanatimirandasya jnananjanashalakaya chachurunmeridam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stavidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagadamakhyam Dadadi Swapadandigam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udavadagamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsta Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sagana Raghunathanvidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalidam Shivishagan Vidam Sam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagalpade Gobesha Gobika Kanda Radha Kanda Namastude Taptaga Anjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindaneshwari Rishabhanusude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpadruvesham Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Andagale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayadi satmadbhavam yadi nastyatra samshayaha. And whoever at the time of death quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. So Krishna is answering the 8th question of Arjuna. How we can remember, one can remember Adiyajna or the Supreme at the time of death, the time when he is leaving the body. Before that, Krishna had answered the 7 questions put forward by Arjuna. Kim Tad Brahma. What is the first question? What was the first question?
What is Brahman?
Brahma,
Yes.
what is
And what is the answer given by Krishna?
Aksharam Brahma. Brahma is indestructible.
What is Brahman?
Indestructible, transcendental.
Yes,
No.
indestructible, transcendental.
Living entities.
Yes. Sharam Param, Brahma Paramam.
Indestructible.
Indestructible, transcendental, living entity. So, living entity. That is most important. Living entity. Jiva is a living entity. Bhagavan is also a living entity. Nityo Nityanam, Tejas Chedananam, Chedas Chedananam. So, both are living entities. Living entities means one with life. Life means there will be desires, then there will be senses, form, everything will be there. So both the living entity Jiva as well as the Supreme Personality is called, addressed as Brahman. Also, some occasion you find bodies also addressed as the Brahman. In Sheda Shvedram, it says, there's a verse, it says that Bhokta Bhogya Preridaram Chamatva Trividam Edad Brahmam. Trividat. Brahma is categorized or into three types. Brahma, Bhokta. Bhokta means the enjoyer. Bhogyam means the enjoyed. Preridaram means the inspirer. So, Bhokta is a living entity residing inside the body, trying to explore the body, which is a part of the nature, through senses. And the Bhogya is definitely the body or the Prakriti. And the Preritara is inspirer. And Preritara means inspire, one who inspires actions of the living entity, facilitates actions. So, the three concepts are called Brahman only, because everything is Sarvameda Khalu Brahman. Chandogya Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. Everything is Brahman only. But everything is not one. Everything comes from one. That's the difference. Everything comes from one. Krishna is the source of everything. Both energies, both the Bhokta and Bhogya, that is Kshetra and Kshetrajna, both are energies of Krishna and emanate from Krishna only. So here, Aksharam Param, Brahma Param means living entity, transcendent living entity. And the next question, Kim Tat? Kim Adhyatmam. Kim Adhyatmam. Adhyatma means, then we can understand in this context, Akshara Param Brahma means the living entity, Jiva only. Because Adhyatma, the nature of Adhyatma, the nature is, of this Brahman. Adhyatma means the nature of this Brahman, the ruling nature. So the living entity in the spiritual world, its own place, has got one nature, and in the material world, it has got a conditioned nature. What is the real nature of the living entity? What is the
Service to
real
Krishna.
nature? Yes, service to
to
Krishna. Service to Krishna. That is a real nature. Jivera Suruba, Krishnera Nitidas. So, but in the material world, it takes a form of an enjoyer. So, enjoyer, he wants to enjoy the material nature. And this kind of enjoyment is based on the Vishayas, or the Vasanas, the imprints that the living entity is carrying with it throughout these births. So the nature of a conditioned being in the material world is Vasana. So the living entity in the conditioned world, in the material world, is guided by his Vasanas, imprints, by which he is executing his karma. And in the real position, original position, it is a servant of Krishna. So Adhyatma can be considered in both aspects. Adhyatma means the nature of the living entity, which means a jiva only, not a supreme Brahman in this context. So that nature can be understood or can be seen from two angles, from material point of view and from spiritual point of view. Because now we'll find that in the towards middle chapter 17 to 22, there's a discussion on the material world and spiritual world. Actually, the concept here, the basis of this chapter is that how to get out of this material world. Jara Marana Mokshaya. You can remember the verse 29. Jara Marana Mokshaya. How to get out of this material world. So the living entities in the material world has got a nature, and it has got a different nature, original nature in the spiritual world. So that is Adhyatma. Then which is the third question?
King Karmang.
King Karma. So what is the reply?
And the various bodies we get in the material world, that is Bhuta Bhava.
Yes, the process by which we get these bodies. The process, because how we get these bodies? Because of karma, some actions we have taken, some actions we have undertaken, and because of actions, we are getting the reactions in the form of different bodies, isn't it? So the process by which the bodies, the living entities attaining different types of bodies from this 84 lakhs of species, that is called karma. And we have seen the cycle of karma. I'm just writing a graph on, small brief text on this, and based on this Chandogya Upanishad, Panjavidya, Panjagni Vidya. I started yesterday, but I couldn't finish it. In a simple, we have explained that the 5 kinds of fires and 5 kinds of oblations. Ultimately, the cycle of karma means how the body, again, getting a new body. After living in this body, it goes to, some people go to the upper planets and come from that, comes down, comes to the earth and gets a new body. So karma is defined that the process by which we can get different bodies. So that is karma. Then Adibhudam and Adidevam, 2 concepts are discussed, and Adidevam also. What is Adibhudam?
Adibhutam is the material or physical manifestation, and Adidevam is the Virat Purusha.
Yes.
With all demigods.
Yes, where it forms a part of the Devas. The Devas form the body of this Virat Purusha. So that is Adibhudam and Adidevam, and then Adiyajna. So Adiyajna, there are 3 questions based on Adiyajna. Who is Adiyajna? How he resides in his body, and how we can remember this Adiyajna at the time of death. Who's Adiyajna? Aham eva, he says, Krishna says, Aham evatra. He says, Adiyajnam Aham evatra. Atradehe. Aham eva atradehe. I am this Adiyajna. and I'm residing in the heart. So after answering the 7 questions, now he replies last one, 8.1. How and end of how we can remember. Smaran, the word smaran is very important. It says, Anta smaran, rare to remember. Remembrance is everything. It is not easy to remember, or it's not possible for an impure soul to remember Krishna the time of leaving the body.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, excuse me.
Yes.
Actually, what are the 3 questions? Who is Adhijagya and
Yeah.
how
How he resides in his body,
yes,
how he resides in his body,
yes,
and how he can be known at the time of leaving the body,
yes, Prabhu.
at the time of death, how he can remember him. Okay,
Yes, Prabhuji.
right. So remembrance is everything. And to remember Krishna, you have to remember at the time of death, you have to remember, if you have to remember Krishna at the time of death, you have to practice this remembrance throughout your life. Because whatever thoughts and whatever nature of life we are leading, what are the main activities we are undertaking in this life, that form big chunk of your thought process, and the focus which you give to to our actions and thoughts, that thoughts will surface at the end. I mean, if you're thinking of always about your business, about your family members, or sometimes if you're a patriot, always thinking about your country and such things, this thought will naturally come to us. But remembering Krishna means you have to remember Krishna throughout your life, and the best way to remember Krishna is to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Of course, Bhagavatam explains 9 process also. Bhagavad Dharma is 9 process, Navadha. But among these Navadha, especially in this Yuga, this fallen age, chanting the holy name takes care of the first 3 activities of Navadharma, as Navadha, Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Smaranam. But then how to chant the mantra? To the mantra to be very, very effective, to be very fine, and if you want to penetrate the mantra in your heart, then there is a process or the method by which you have to chant. And this is explained by Chaitanya Charita Mahaprabhu in the Shashtakam in verse 3. Trinata visunijena taroravi sahishnana amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. So this is a process, the method you have to chant. First of all, your consciousness should be clear. And the shad enemies, you can say, which you have always been nourishing in our past lives and this life also. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madamalsara, all comprise of this what we call Aham, the false ego. We have to let go of this false ego, Aham. Then only we can be humble. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says we have to be humble, more humble than a straw or blade of grass. We have to be more tolerant than a tree. So that humility and tolerance, these are the 2 qualities which is very important in the Bhakti Yoga. in chanting the holy name. And when you are not having this false ego, then you'll not be running after respect, name, fame, recognition, honor, prestige. This is something which we like very much. We want to be respected. We want to be given positions, prestige. Then you have to have name. Then you have to have fame. You have to leave all this. At the same time, you have to give respect also to others. You should not seek respect. You should not expect anxiously. Always looking for respect, always looking for praise. And we have our own ways of getting praise from others. We pretend to be very humble, and then others will praise us, and then we'll be very happy. The mind devises so many methods by which we induce others to praise us. That is quite natural for these living entities. When we have to analyze ourselves, you have to make a strict analysis. And then if you are able to understand that you're also very much conditioned like that, that is one realization, step forward. Then we have to give respect to others, due respect to others. Not that everyone should be treated equally, not that everyone should be respected equally. Always due respect is there. Now this humility, tolerance, lack of, what do you call, taste for respect. At the practical level, we have to understand how it works. Theoretically, we can say many things, but practically, how these are working, we have to seek from our acharyas. How acharyas are teaching us the real essence of this verse. We have Gaurkishore Babaji, example is Gaurkishore Babaji. He is an Avadhuta. The sense that he is always walking around carelessly, looking for Madhukari, that means Bhikshadanam, going from house to house in the Babaji dress, with unkempt hair and beard and everything. So some miscreants, some boys, and some crooks and hooks, and seeing him, they'll pelt him with stones and mud. Gaurkishore Babaji tolerated everything. But then he will tell Krishna, Krishna, you're only doing this, and you're making me suffer. So I'm going to complain to you against, I'm going to lodge a complaint against you to Mother Yashoda. So he's having pastime with Krishna. On one side, we can see the teacher, people are throwing stones at him. And then he is having an inner dialogue, a conversation with Krishna. Oh, Krishna, you're responsible for this. Because we all know that nothing can happen without the sanction of Krishna. So if somebody is throwing stones at us, Krishna is allowing that. Gaurkishore Baba is tolerating like anything. He doesn't mind. But in his heart, in his inside, he's having a game with Krishna. There's a rasa. Because of you only, I'm suffering. So I'm going to complain. I know how to deal with you. I'm going to complain with Yashoda Mataji, your mother. I know you're very afraid of your mother. She'll tie you up and she'll beat you. So I'm going to lodge a complaint against you. So you can see the tolerance of Gaurkishore Babaji that way. And we have the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami examples. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami, he has set up 64 Gaudiya Mathas all over India. He was a great Acharya of 64 Mathas, a renowned scholar, a lion guru, very, very respected person. And Vrindavan, if he goes, so many people were there to meet him and take his darshan and hear his kathas. Thousands flocked to have his darshan and listen to his classes. So in 1930s, he organized this Vrindavan Parikrama. Vrindavan Parikrama, yes, is 84 square kilometers, and it takes about 1 month to cover this Parikrama. So thousands and thousands of people, devotees, accompanied him, followed him. So they used to go throughout the Vrindavan, stay in one place, have a tent, stay there, and then move on to the next place. Like that, they were going through Vrindavan, and people were swelling and swelling, more and more people coming in. Then one day they entered a temple, and the temple, Gaurkisha Babaji, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami had some conversation with the Pujari there, who was a Brahmana. So they were discussing Raghunath Das Thakura, Raghunath Das Goswami. As you know, Raghunath Goswami, one of the Shat Goswamis, is a very prominent Acharya, and he written so many books. This Brahmana was saying that Raghunath Das Goswami is coming from a lower caste. He is not a Brahmin, he is not qualified to be Acharya. He should take blessings from us only. Raghunath Das Goswami belongs to the Kayastha community. He was not from a Brahmin community. So this Brahmana, this Pujari, was belittling Raghunath Das Goswami, was a great Acharya for us, most respected and revered. He's like a Manchari only. He's Manchari only. And this fact is known to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami. Was very, very hurt by this. Became very sad, but he did not say anything. But what he did was, he started fasting. He started fasting. He refused to start taking food or even water. And when he started fasting, all his followers, thousands of followers, they also started fasting. So the news spread. So that great persons of this village, they're all assembled and then approached Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. They inquired from him what is the reason, and then understood. Then immediately they went to temple and cornered this Brahmana and say that because of your conceit, because of your ahankara, ego, a great person is fasting, and you go immediately and apologize to him. So Brahmana knew his mistake. He went out to Siddhanta Saraswati and apologized. Then one of the few followers of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami asked, "Oh, Master, why we are taught that we should tolerate? The Brahmana had insulted Raghunath Das Goswami. Why we couldn't tolerate that and go on our way? I mean, not minding him. Okay, let him say whatever he wants. He is ignorant. Let's not allow. Let's go on our way without responding or reacting." Then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami said that if I was an ordinary Babaji, I would have neglected his words. I would have tolerated, neglected his words. I do not mind at all. But I am not only one. I am now an Acharya of 64 Mathas and have my duties. As an Acharya, I have got a duty. And Acharya duty is to defend the predecessors. He has got a duty to a parampara. And any Acharya, previous Acharyas are being insulted or blasphemed, it is a duty to defend him, to defend that abominable action. So here you can see the tolerance and yet the humble humility is a different nature. It all depends on circumstances. You cannot artificially say that I am very humble, I'll tolerate everything and anything. Not like that. Tolerating anything and anything is between devotees only. Not with outside public. So once in ISKCON temple in Mayapur was attacked by hooligans, gundas. Then the devotees over there, they confronted these hooligans, and they had some guns. And seeing these guns, these hooligans ran off, these robbers. So somebody was asking, was it right on the part of devotees to wield these guns and threaten them with these guns? Then Shishka Maharaji said, yes, it is so. They had done them. You cannot allow these kinds of people, miscreants, to enter the temple and spoil everything. Then it is our duty to defend the deities. It is our duty to defend the temple. You cannot allow any Tom and Dick and Harry and do any nonsense in the temple. You cannot allow some dogs to enter the temple. You can say, yes, why not? Dog is a living entity. Why cannot it enter the temple? So there is a limit beyond which we have to understand these limits. Because dogs, when it comes, it makes the place dirty, and it's a sanctified areas. Temple is a sanctified area. Cannot allow donkeys and monkeys just like that enter the temple, inside the temple. There's a place for monkeys and donkeys. It's outside the yard, not inside. But when you go from preaching, some people may make fun at you. So at that time, you have to tolerate, like Babaji's tolerated. So we have to understand this tolerance, pridelessness. These are all have to be understood in its proper aspects and circumstances, its proper perspectives, like our acharyas have shown us. Then in that mood, if you can chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra throughout your life, then definitely this will attract the attention of Krishna, and Krishna will be very merciful to us. And the time of leaving his body, he will help us to acquire our original position. And our nature is similar to Krishna's only. Sachidananda. Our nature is Krishna is Sachidananda. Same way, we are also Sachidananda. So Krishna's name, form, everything. So we can have a similar spiritual form. For that, we have to throughout our life practice the devotion service. Remembering Krishna is always important. And you cannot remember Krishna overnight just by practicing for some time. This has to be throughout our life. So next verse, Krishna reaffirms the remembrance aspect. What you remember at the time of death is most important. Yam vabi smaran bhavam tyajatyande kalevaram tam tameva kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavidaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. So affirmation from Krishna, yes. Then consciousness, the last thoughts that enter your consciousness at the time of leaving the body is most important. So that's why we should have a pure consciousness. Example is given of Jadabharata, Jadabharata, who was King Bharata in his previous life. He was a great king. He was a great son of a great king, Vrishabha Maharaj. And he ruled over, because of his, after his name only, we got this name Bharata. Previously, the Indian mainland was known as Ilavrta. After Bharata became the emperor of Ilavrta, the country's name was Bharata. So after Bharat Maharaj only, India came to be known as Bharata. So he ruled for many years, and then at the age of 50, the right time, he accepted Vanaprastha, left his kingdom, left his beautiful wife, he left his very beautiful and handsome sons and daughters, a vast empire, everything he's left. just like that. Srimad Bhagavatam says, just like passing a stool, is as easy as passing a stool, he left everything. And then entered the forest, and then started rendering the intense devotional service to Krishna. And while he was engaged in devotional service, one day morning he went to his river for taking his bath. Then he saw a female deer trying to cross this one. Then when suddenly a tiger came and tried to attack this deer, and deer jumped in the river. And that the deer was he was carrying she was pregnant. And in this fear and anxiety, and he gave birth to a young one, a doe. But the deer could not protect the doe, and she could not protect herself also. And after crossing this river, she left his body. She left her body, and then only this child, this doe, young deer, was left. And Bharat saw this doe was floating this river. So he became very concerned. He became very compassionate. He took this doe with him, a young deer, and then went to his ashram carrying this deer in his arms. And then he thought that if I leave him alone, wild animals will come and attack him. So it is my duty to protect him now. So he started looking after this deer like a daughter parent, feeding him, always accompanying with him, and always anxiously seeing that he's not attacked by wild animals. So slowly, all his devotional service came to a stop, and was completely engaged in activities of this deer. And this deer was very, 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 very naughty and very nicely, looking very nice, beautiful deer. And then Bharata was very much attracted. And then at the time of leaving his body, he was anxiously thinking of what will happen to my deer when I pass my body, and think that he left his body. And because of that, he acquired the body of a deer in the next life. But since he had practiced so much devotion service during his lifetime, he could remember his mistake. I knew that because of this mistake he had made, he lost a chance of going back to Godhead. So he was very careful in association. He left his mother and family and all that. Then he approached his ashramas of sages, and that stayed the rest of his life in this ashrama. And so in next life, he got the body of a human being again. And this time he was called Jadabharata. And he started off where he had left off. And this is described in the fifth canto, how his acquaintance with, Samada with King Rahugana and all that. And finally, Jadabharata went back to Godhead. But we can see that because of the mistake, because of thinking of something other than Krishna, he was punished. You can say he had to undergo and one more life. So that is why Krishna says, Yam yam bhavismaran bhavam tejatande kalevram. So again, at the time of remembrance, at the time of death, it's very, very crucial. So Arjuna, then that means what I can do? I have to leave everything and then think of you only. And Krishna says, no. Tasmat sarvesha kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. You do your duty, but while doing your duty, always remember me. While doing your duty in a detached manner, nishkama, again he's emphasizing the karma yoga. Because most of us are grihasthas only. The grihasthas form the big chunk. Brahmacharis and sannyasis are only little. 90% or more than 95% grihasthas only. So this karma yoga is basically meant for these grihasthas, because grihasthas cannot abstain from doing work. doing action. They have to do that. Niyadam kuru karmatvam karmajyayo hya karmana. You have to do your prescribed duties. And while being engaged in doing the prescribed duties, now Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and his duty is to fight the miscreants. So Krishna advises him, you do your duty and always think of Krishna, always think of me only. Mayarpita mano buddhir. When your mind and your intelligence sufficiently imbued with my thoughts and the knowledge of me, then you can do your duty by thinking always of. That means you'll be doing a duty. Prescribed duties are meant for elevating yourself to the God's kingdom. That's mentioned in the 18th chapter. So Krishna says, you don't run away from your duty. You do your duty. There are people who are abstaining from work. Think that I am very, very, very highly advanced. This work is, obstructing my spiritual progress. So I leave this work prematurely. Without having internal cleanness, these people will leave this work. Mithyachara. A karmendriya samyama, that work is, third chapter, 6th verse. Indriyani vimudhatma mithyachara sauchade. So there are other types of people who say, oh, I've got so much work. I don't have time for spiritual activities. I have to do so many things. I'm looking after a big family. I'm looking after a nation. I have so many responsibilities. So I'm not in a position to render devotion service or think about Krishna. So these are both extremes. So Krishna advises you do your work at the same time. Remember, yad dashnas, yad karoshi dashnasi, yad juhosi dadasi yad karishasi kaunteya. So that 9th chapter is mentioned. Whatever you do, whatever you offer, whatever you eat, whatever you offer in charity, do it as a offering to me only. Not only the prescribed duties, whatever actions you are doing has to have as an offering only. So that means you have to always think of Krishna. It's not like you remember Krishna in the morning and then evening, and then between time, this from 9 to 7 onwards, whatever the working time, you think of, do your work only without thinking of Krishna. The minute you leave thinking of Krishna, the commanders of Maya, lust, greed, anger, envy, everything will take over. So this we have to practice, thinking of Krishna always. And that is best way is to chant always, and chant your mind only. And understanding this work we are executing is to support your family, support your body. And because this body is required to render devotion service. So the action the karma which you are doing is indirectly an offering to Krishna only. So that way, a perfect understanding of action and always think of Krishna. Krishna says, Mam eveshasi asamshaya. Definitely you come back to me. So Sant Kabir gives an example of a village woman who is carrying a water pot on her head. In my previous times, you had to go a long distance, fetch water from long places. Some well maybe at a distance, or you go to or a river, whatever it is, go to river, collect water in water pot. And then on the way, she'll be talking and then walking and talking to other persons also. But all the time, she'll be holding this water pot. So that's son Kavi. This is a way to remember Krishna or remember the Supreme. Always do your work, but at the same time remember Krishna. Just like the village woman who is carrying a water pot in her head, walking and talking and everything, doing everything, but at the same time holding on to water pot, the hands always. So Krishna advises Krishna that Arjuna that this is the secret of success. This is by which we can always remember Krishna. And when you remember Krishna all the time in your lifetime, then you'll be able to remember Krishna at the time of death, which is very difficult. In Skanda Purana, so many Puranas will say that very difficult to remember Krishna, the Supreme, at the time of death. But if you practice this in your life, then it will be possible for us with the mercy of Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Right. Sigdamaji can render.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So, very nice, Prabhuji. It is very difficult to chant and recall him at the time of leaving the body. And if his will is there, if God's will is there, as he told that Tesang Satata Juktanang Bhajatang Pritipurvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tang. Yes,
Yes.
The Buddhi Yoga, then only it will be possible.
Yes. So that you have to Bhajadam Pritipurvakam.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Loving devotion, with lot of love, you have to chant the Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes.
That's the only way.
It is our duty to remember every time and chant properly. But it is his, at the time of leaving the body, it is his duty. He will give.
Yes, Krishna promises. Krishna in Varaha Purana says Krishna promises that even if you don't do that also, I'll take you back. Because during all your life you have done that. By chance or something like that, you are not able to remember at the time of leaving. I'll take care of you.
Where it is, Prabhuji, in Varaha Purana it is told.
Varaha Purana.
Okay. Prabhuji, actually, another thing, the small things, if we are going to temple, we thought so many things we will say, but after seeing the Lord, we forget everything. But at the time of leaving body, it is very difficult to take his name. Whatever, maybe it is very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladadaine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Silatankanakalaye. Ito Narsinho Parato Narsinho. Yato yami tato. Hridaye Narsimha Madi Prapati Tabakara Kamalapati Nakhamasangam Hiranyakashiputanyutam Keshavati Hari Jaya Jagadish Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Narsingadev Narsingadev Jaya Narsingadev Jaya Narahari Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Om उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्यु नमाम्यहम् ॐ उग्रं वीरं
महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं
वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्यु नमाम्यहम् श्री नरसिंह जय नरसिंह जय
जय श्री नरसिंह
जय जय श्री नरसिंह प्रह्लादेश विघ्न विनाशक श्री नरसिंह भगवान की जय।
जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च
सिन्धुभ्यैव च
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। नंदगोड़ी वैष्णव वृंद की
जय।
नमाचार्य दास ठाकुर की
जय।
शिला प्रवाद की
जय।
गौर प्रेमानंदे
हरि हरि बोल।